Almost here. Many of you, this has been your first week of would have been your first week of summer vacation. Today was supposed to be our first day of VBS, so a lot of things that were supposed to have happened this week that kind of didn't happen the way we thought they would. But we are super excited. This Sunday morning and afternoon we get to come back to church. So we're going to have two services. We're going to have an 11 a.m. and 5:30 service. They are going to be the same service. So we're not going to have like an evening service like what we would normally have done. We're going to have an 11 a.m. and a 5:30 that will be identical. Please go online and sign up for that. I will share a link here shortly that will have all the information on how you can sign up, and you can get on there and ask any questions that you may have. So today we're gonna dive into to something that is super important in the life of the believer, and that is cutting away sin. We have to cut off the things in our life that cause us to sin. And so in Matthew 18, it's very clear there what we should do to the things in our life that cause us sin. It says, if your hand or your foot causes you to stumble, cut it off. If your eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out. The way I look at that and I read it is I don't think Jesus wants us to necessarily cut our feet off and gouge our eyes out, but I do think what he wants us to do is to identify the things in our life that cause us to sin, that cause us to fall into sin. If going on social media causes you to sin, cut off social media. If watching certain TV shows causes you to sin, or listening to certain things of music, or hanging out with certain people, or whatever the thing or person or whatever it may be, we have to be willing to cut those things off as we pursue righteousness. Christ calls us to be holy as he is holy. So are we willing to get uncomfortable? Are we willing to take a step and go, you know what? Okay, God, I'll cut this thing out of my life because it is pushing me away from you, not drawing me towards you. Now, that thing or whatever person or whatever it is going to be different for all of us, and we should not be judgmental because of what that one person's thing is. There are some people, they just can't be on Facebook, and that's okay. There are some people, they can't watch certain TV shows, and that's okay, or listen to certain music, and that's okay, or spend time with certain people. That's okay. We're all in this fight together in this pursuit of holiness, this pursuit of righteousness. And so each and every one of us should do our part to help one another as believers as we chase after Jesus, and be willing to help one another and be willing to take some advice from other people, because there are things that I've gone through that you may be going through, and me be willing to say, hey man, or hey, I had to cut this out of my life for God to for that sin to no longer have rule in my life, and now I can go do that thing and I don't have to worry about it. And so as you look at your life today, I want you to take a real time out. Take some time and sit down and look at what causes you to sin. What struggles do you have? Where do you stumble? Because you can always probably trace most of it back to a single source or multiple sources depending on the sin that we're talking about, and make sure that you're willing to cut those things out so that we can pursue righteousness, so that we can become the men and women that God has created us to be. So I pray that today you do that. You take some time, identify the sin in your life that needs to get gone, and the things that cause that cause you to go down that road. So I'm praying for you today. Know that I pray that you're able to find those things and root those things out. Be willing to get uncomfortable for Jesus. That's been my kind of a big thing that God's had on me this week. Be willing to get uncomfortable for Jesus, and I promise you, you will never, ever regret it. So, hope you guys have an awesome day. Hope your Friday is so blessed. I'm going to pre-record tomorrow's and go ahead and kind of pre-post it. It'll go live at 2 tomorrow, but just got a lot of things going on tomorrow. Don't know if I'll be able to stop and come to you guys. But know that I love you. Know that I'm praying for you. And if there's anything you need during this time, please don't hesitate to let me know. Love you guys. Cannot wait to see you guys here either Sunday morning or Sunday night, whatever your family chooses. It's going to be awesome times we get to come back together.